Welcome! Today I'm going to be walking you through performing a battery change in a G-Shock AW-590, and this is the 4778 module. Let's get right into it. To perform this battery change, we're simply going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver, a spring bar removal tool, ideally metal tweezers, but if you don't have metal tweezers you can use a metal paper clip, and our replacement battery, which is a CR1220. Getting started with this battery change, the first thing we're going to need to do is remove our straps. As we can see here, our spring bars have little lips, and our spring bar removal tool has a little notch. We simply want to wrap the notch around those lips, pull down, and we can twist our strap right out. And I always like to hold my thumb right there just in case that spring bar tries to go flying out on me. Now we'll do the same for the other side. With our straps removed, we can go ahead and remove our 4 case back screws and set them aside for later. Now we can go ahead and lift our case back right off. And don't worry, sometimes the gasket will come off with the case back. We'll reinstall that when we're reassembling the watch. Our next step is simply to lift this rubber bumper layer right off and set it aside. Now this is probably the most challenging part of this battery change. So we're going to want to flip our watch over, and as we can see here, there's a little latch, and we simply want to grab our tweezers or paper clip, go right in the middle, and pull out, and we'll unlatch that. And this is the challenging part. This battery, it goes in negative side up, and it's very challenging to get out of place. Right here, there's a little groove which you can stick something small in, but at the same time, we're going to want to hold the module in place because as we're trying to pry the battery up, the module is going to try to pop out on us. So we'll see if I can get this out in one go here. That's probably the easiest it's ever been for me. So once we get our battery out, we can just get rid of that. And now just to demonstrate, in the event that your module did pop out a little bit, as you can see my module is out, and if I push in, it's not going to go all the way in. What we want to do is grab our plungers here, which is what our buttons push to activate functions on the module. We simply want to push them in one by one, and we'll usually find one that's right hung up on the button. So we want to pull those out of the way and push down, and then we'll feel our module snap right back into place. Now we're ready to come on in with our new battery, and I always suggest holding it by the sides if you don't have finger covers on. But do remember, this battery is installed negative side up. So we're simply going to drop it right in place. Make sure it's tucked in there, and then we'll simply close our latch right over it. We'll feel it pop right into place there, and now our battery's installed. Now we're going to want to perform our AC reset, which is simply going to reset the module to factory defaults, clear out any errors if there are any. This is where having metal tweezers will come in handy, but if you're just using a paper clip, you can simply bend it into an arch. You just want to have 2 metal points. So we're going to come on our module right here. We can see there's a little marking that says AC, and there's an arrow which is pointing into this. See if you can see it. There's a little gold panel at the bottom there. We're simply going to want to touch one end of our metal to that gold panel and the other end to the metal on our module. We can actually see right here, there's a negative icon. We're just going to hold it there for about 2 seconds. And then I always like to make sure that I perform the reset correctly, so I like to hold my finger right over this spring just to make sure it doesn't fall out, because that spring is important for the sound of your watch. I will flip the watch over, and we should see our seconds start counting up from 0, so it's been about 30 since I performed the reset. So our watch is ready to reassemble. I'm going to go ahead and rotate my watch right side up again. And the first thing we're going to want to do is reinstall that rubber bumper layer that we took out earlier. So as we can see, there's a hole here for the spring and a hole here for this metal tab. We're simply going to match the shape, Make sure that everything is properly in its place, just like so. Next, we're going to go ahead and reinstall our gasket in the event that yours came out. This is just simply a circle, so we're just going to drop it right into the groove there. Do some fine tuning if needed. We just want to make sure that our gasket is perfectly seated in the groove. Now we're ready to reinstall our case back. The simplest way to remember this is that this metal tab here indicates the lower portion of the watch. We just want to make sure that our Casio and G-Shock logos are properly oriented. We'll just drop it right in place, and you'll feel it kind of fall into the groove there. And now we can go ahead and reinstall our case back screws. So I typically like to just hold a finger on that case back, drop my screws in, just get them started, and now all we need to do is snug them up. And remember, they don't need to be super tight, just snug, because these screws are very delicate, easy to strip and break. And now we're ready for the final step, which is reinstalling our straps. So what I like to do is grab my strap and my spring bar. I'll thread the bar through, leave a little more sticking out on one side, then I'll grab my watch. I'll tilt the bar right into the hole, that way one side is already in. Push the bar in place. Now I'll come in with my spring bar removal tool, pull that bar down, and get it seated nice and snug. So now we'll do the same for the other side. And now our straps are nice and secure. And we're completely done now. As we can see, all of our modes cycle, our beep is audible, and our backlight is working. So our watch is ready to set and wear again. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this battery replacing tutorial. I really hope that it was clear and helpful. If you have any questions for me, please comment down below and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. And if you're interested in more tutorials and watch-related content, please do consider subscribing. I'm going to be covering a wide array of G-Shock, Casio, and Baby G products, so stay tuned for more. Thanks, guys.